At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right, everybody, welcome to Dave Cooper Live. Everybody wants more housing built. Developers say we need it. Cities say we need it. Politicians even say we need it. And the social media experts have apparently solved the entire housing crisis in about 30 seconds. There's just one small detail missing. Somebody actually has to show up and build the houses. Today, we're talking with someone working on one of the biggest issues facing our industry. Where is the next generation of construction professionals coming from? Marina leads TradesFutures, an organization helping create pathways into construction careers across America. If you're wondering why projects are harder to staff, why labor costs continue to rise, or why workforce development is suddenly at the center of the housing conversation, then this episode is for you. But before we get into any or all of that, we need to have a few words from our supporting members. CombiLift is the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers, a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. CombiLift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. A big thank you to Paul Short and the team at CombiLift for helping us all to build it better. Visit them at combilift.com. Every build deserves comfort that lasts. Cobalt Creed helps builders and offsite manufacturers reach new levels of indoor air quality and efficiency. With their proprietary small duct, high-velocity central heating and cooling system, quiet, compact, powerful, Cobalt Creed, building comfort into every building. Learn more at cobaltcreed.com. All right, again, thank you to all of our supporting members and all of the supporting members you see in that ticker going across the bottom there. We are live. We are unedited. Nobody tells us who to have on the show. It is invite only, and the information is for all of you out there that are trying to build it better. And today, not only building it better, but who's going to build it better? That's what today's topic is going to be about. And as always, if you're interested in being a guest on the Dave Cooper Live Show, we'd love to have you. We have everybody from Washington, D.C. to around the globe, politicians, developers, investors, all the stakeholders. Watch this show for the information on where the housing crisis is and where it's going and how do we build it better. So with that said, we're going to start today's show a little bit differently. In fact, we're going to play a video for you so you can see what today's show is all about. And then we're going to bring Marina onto the show. So sit back, watch this 3.5 minute intro video, and then we're going to go from there.
We know that construction work is in demand. We know that we need more workers, that the construction workforce is aging. We need to ensure that there is a really steady pipeline of young people and that we are able to train them and direct them towards quality employment opportunities. So TradesFutures apprenticeship readiness programs were developed in order to create a more formal pipeline from communities into construction careers. By building up that construction workforce, we're also able to build up those industries that we think are so crucial, like affordable housing. The TradesFutures model is very scalable. We are a national intermediary, so we manage the curriculum, we train instructors across the country, and we also support the development of relationships with apprenticeship programs and employers.
So TradesFutures works with about 275 different programs around the nation, and there's a really big range to the types of programs that we work with. We have a growing demographic within high schools, community colleges, and also within justice-involved settings like correctional facilities as well. So the multi-core craft curriculum is this very foundational understanding of construction labor, meaning that we really go into a little bit of everything, a light touch everywhere, with the goal being that people get to walk away understanding exactly what they would like to dedicate themselves to.
We want folks not just to access construction careers, but actually stay in them. So we know that by exposing folks to what it's like to work in the construction industry and matching them with the right apprenticeship that pays good wages and provides benefits, we will actually improve retention and have folks stay in for the long run.
My name is Ben Garcia. I am the Executive Director of the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund of the Los Angeles and Orange Counties Building and Construction Trades Council. My role is to coordinate 26 active multi-craft core curriculum programs throughout Los Angeles and Orange County. The way that the apprenticeship readiness programs tie in Los Angeles to the affordable housing opportunities is that we are working directly with the county and the city to ensure that we are creating a training pipeline. We have projects being built in local communities. They're being built by the community members that those projects reside in.
My name is Belly Acharya. I'm the founder and executive director of Construction Trades Workforce Initiative, CTWI. We operate Raising the Bar in the Baltimore, D.C. metro region, which is a 6-week apprenticeship readiness program that prepares local residents for careers in the union construction trades. These students, they get hands-on exposure and they graduate with industry recognized credentials like OSHA 10, First Aid, CPR, and the multi-craft core curriculum.
My name is Billy Casey. I would like to be an electrician. The program has been an extraordinary tool for me moving to higher heights toward that electrical trade.
What I really like about this program is that we're going to be going to other unions, seeing what those trades are about and seeing what is going to be interesting to me. Our ARP students are equipped to join the union, who then provides these students with the skill set to be able to build housing in a way that is affordable so that families can buy these homes and fulfill that American dream.
For the folks that are going through these apprenticeship programs, these are debt-free. They are not paying for this opportunity. We see our participants go from unemployment to an apprenticeship where they are making, let's say, $20, $25 an hour, to a journey level position where they may be making $70 an hour, which is a pretty amazing opportunity. So this type of investment really creates a pipeline for people not just to contribute to their community, but also really build up themselves and their families.
All right, let's bring Marina on to the show. Marina, how are you today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're really happy you're here, and we're really happy that you are putting all this effort in to help bring the trades back into the trades, bring the youth into the trades. And from what I just learned, without debt. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Marina, before we get into any or all of this, we ask the same question to all of our guests. In fact, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we're going to have your family members on, and that could get a little embarrassing. But hey, this is a chance for you to tell your personal story before we get into Trades Futures. So the floor is yours. Please take a moment.
I appreciate you asking. I think for this work in particular, you've got to have a personal connection to it. So mine, I will say, goes a little bit farther outside of our normal reaches. So what brought me to this work, I was born in the Soviet Union. I immigrated here with my parents in the early 90s when a lot of folks were leaving the Soviet Union. And at the time, my parents were coming here as they were practicing physicians back in the USSR, not to quote the Beatles. But when they came to America, their medical licensure was not valid. So they had to actually restart a lot of their training. And so I watched my parents, work a variety of odd jobs, including construction, actually at the time, not the type of construction careers that we trained for, but really sort of more helping out in a variety of positions while they were getting recertified and taking their boards. And they ultimately, were able to practice as physicians again here in the United States. And that has driven my belief that the work that you do, the time we spend at work is often more than we spend with our families. And to ensure that work brings dignity, brings security and stability to you, but also to your family is critical. And that's kind of what's put me on my career and my belief in workforce development as a tool that can not only bring folks a good job, but also really transform a community and bring stability to to a city, to a country, and more. So that's what brings me here. And I work currently in the construction space, but I've worked across a wide variety of sectors. But I'm really committed to ensuring that our students right now, I think that the construction opportunities that our graduates have access to are some of the best in the country. And we're really proud of that work and really excited to see it grow.
Well, I'm proud of your work, so you should definitely be proud of it. So, listen, you started as a teacher, you moved into workforce development, you worked in government, right? So, what experience shaped your belief that workforce development is one of America's biggest challenges?
So, in a prior role, I actually worked for the Chips for America program at the Department of Commerce. So that was the program that invested in the construction of semiconductor fabrication facilities, and I worked on construction side of that, right? Particularly ensuring that the investments that the government was making, had tie-ins to ensure that we had the sufficient labor force to actually invest in this industry. And that really shapes my belief that if you want to see something, a physical thing built in this country, you need to ensure that there is a workforce strategy behind that, right? When we think of investments in critical industries, be it semiconductor, facility manufacturing, or energy, or housing, we cannot forget that to make all of these things happen, to see the built environment spring up around us, it doesn't happen out of nowhere. We need to ensure that we are investing and training in the workforce that will get us there. And we need to ensure these are appealing jobs, right, that bring folks into these careers and help them stay there.
Yeah, for sure. The trades in general across all the industries, whether it's housing, residential, commercial, data centers, critical infrastructure. It's just not one trade or one sector of the industry that's suffering from the lack of trades. It's across the whole board. In fact, across the entire globe.
Yep, absolutely. And one interesting piece to this, I will say, I know we'll get to this later as well, but to your point around data centers, there's this interesting tension now where obviously data centers are a huge source of construction demand all over the country, need skilled trades, and they need them now. But what we also see is that the rise of AI really increases interest in the skilled trades, because skilled trades can be seen as some of the most durable careers that are less exposed to AI and the potentials of job loss from AI. So we're both seeing employment opportunities from data centers, and we're also seeing more interest, right, in the skilled trades because of the rise of AI. So it's a real opportunity, I think, for everyone to take advantage of.
Well, I can tell you by the end of this show, Marina, I am so grateful and hopeful that you're going to teach me and show me how I can make $70 an hour, because that sounds wonderful. That's amazing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I know I don't make that right now. So everybody's talking about housing affordability, but very few people are connecting it to the actual workforce development side of this. If you're a builder, developer, a policymaker out there, workforce development, in housing infrastructure, how is it part of the solution?
Well, if we want something built, we've got to ensure we have the labor force to build it. And the most important piece of that is not assuming that the labor force is there, but actually both ensuring that we have invested in and trained the labor force, not that we need today, but that we're going to need in several years. Because while we prepare folks to enter an apprenticeship program, that means that's your first year, right, of work as a skilled trades person. It can take many years, right, for training of experience for someone to be an experienced journey level tradesperson, right? At least 4 years typically. And if you need 50,000, journey level electricians, right, to be doing this work across the country, that's not going to come like that out of thin air, right? So we want to ensure that if you are investing in the housing industry, if you're investing in housing affordability, that you're also actively investing into that pipeline, right? That we're not assuming that folks are going to be there, that we're investing in training, we're investing in partnerships and recruitment, and recruiting folks early on so that they can actually be there and ready to go, into these competitive roles, right? Once the opportunity exists, which we know it does. We know it's here already.
So somebody's in the apprenticeship readiness program. How does someone actually move from having zero construction experience to a registered apprenticeship, and a family sustaining career? Because like you said, it takes years and years to do it. How are you doing it differently?
So let me tell you a bit about our organization and just sort of how we facilitate this type of transition for our participants. So TradesFutures has a network of over 200 what are called apprenticeship readiness programs across the country. And while we have been around as a separate sort of nonprofit since 2023, the work of our organization has been happening since 2008, right? So the work has been around for quite some time under different names. There's a few items that are sort of the core of our work. Number one is the multi-craft core curriculum. So all of our programs utilize our labor industry developed curriculum that ensures that the participants in our programs have the foundational understanding of what it's like to access a construction career. And I say that because yes, they receive training on things like OSHA 10, blueprint reading, but also what is it like to actually work in the construction industry? Our programs were developed not just to recruit folks, but to actually help retain them later on. Because if you're going into a construction career and you don't realize that you need to be up sometimes at 4 a.m, right, then this might not be the right career for you, and that's fine. But we'd rather know that early on, right, rather than getting on the job and realizing that this is not the right fit for you. So our curriculum both teaches these foundational skills, right, and builds this community, but also ensures that folks are prepared for what's coming next. The next piece of our sort of 3, I would say, common features across our program is they all partner with a building trades council in their region, and that represents all of the available apprenticeship opportunities in a particular area, right? So we want to ensure that we're not doing a train and pray, type model, but that our programs are partnered with apprenticeship programs in the area so that graduates can actually apply and access those apprenticeship opportunities upon graduation from the apprenticeship readiness program, which is what we offer. And then the third piece is they actually all report data to us. So they report data on how many folks are enrolled, complete, and are placed into apprenticeship. And that's really important for us to play a role as a national intermediary and really build best practices across the country. And that means that we support our programs with things like professional development. We offer, when we have the opportunity, we do actually offer grant funding as well to our programs, and a variety of resources. Like, just as an example, some of the trades, like the mechanical trades, have higher requirements for math for entrance exams. And so we've been able to offer like supplementary math resources, right, for a number of our participants. On the flip side, we also have a partnership, for example, with the National Urban League, where we have a number of programs across the country that partner with their local Urban League affiliates to receive supportive services for their participants. And what that means is support with things like transportation, stipends, right, to ensure you're completing a program, right? If you have to take time off of work, that can be a real challenge, right, for someone making a transition in the career.
So you guys have established a proven core curriculum, and you've become kind of the hub of the wheel.
Yeah.
And your core curriculum is kind of the feeder of information, process, best practices, not only on how to become a great trades, woman, man, whatever the case is, but also the business side of it, how to handle, hey, somebody's, on maternity leave or this or that. I mean, you're taking these communities and these people in these communities that have a program that is tied to your hub and giving them all of the resources to be successful.
Yeah, and I would say yes. And when our graduates go into an apprenticeship program, these are joint labor management, apprenticeship programs, they are typically at least 4 years. So there's a lot of training, a lot of occupational specific training that happens there, right? So that's where if you go into, say, the electrical workers apprenticeship program, right, that's where you'll learn how to be an electrician, right? Or if you go into the plumbers and pipe fitters, that's where you'll learn usually actually not just to be a plumber, but also a pipe fitter, so that you're really trained across the range of your craft. And the way that these apprenticeship programs, the trade specific ones that you go into, is you have multiple employers, right, that are providing input as to what folks need to be trained on. So it ensures that the worker, right, is trained across the range of their craft. They are highly employable, right, across a range of construction industries. And it ensures that the employer has a trained employee, right, coming out on the other end. And so that's kind of how that transition from apprenticeship readiness program to apprenticeship works. But I can't understate the amount of training and experience that folks get once they're actually in the apprenticeship, because they are both in the apprenticeship and they're getting classroom training, but they're also working, right? So they are employed that entire time.
And so not only you associate with these other organizations, the organizations are tied to the actual businesses that need these trades, whether it's union, general contractors, doesn't matter, right? So you've built your own feeder system for these students to actually be employed.
Yes. So all of the apprenticeship programs are joint, right? So they're labor management. So they have joint input. And that's, again, what ensures that folks are employable and that they also have access to employment, right? That's the whole point of all of this on both ends, right? The employers need the workers and the employees need the work. And then the other piece that I would just note is we are also very connected to community organizations, right? So many of our programs are run by a school or a community college or by a community-based organization that's like serving as this recruitment function as well, right? And often bringing folks that were not previously connected to the trades. It's a word of mouth industry, right? And so often if you're not in, you may have a difficult time getting in. And so our programs often do the work of bringing in folks who were not previously connected, to this industry into the work. So that's the kind of prongs we have: community-based organizations, labor, industry, right? Those are all really key partners in the work that we do.
What are you seeing like amongst the younger generations now, right? Because you have an entire United States picture of what's going on in every state. It feels like across the country. Has the perception of the construction careers changed? And if it has, great. Or what needs to happen to attract more talent into the trades? Or are you guys just getting an abundance of them now?
So one interesting data point. Our largest organically growing sector of programs is our school-based programs. So these are programs in high schools. We have 80 programs right now. It's growing every day. And I say organically growing because we actually we do very little outreach for new programs. They come to us and they sort of go through this vetting process with us. And so one, the fact that we have this incredible growth of school-based programs in itself sort of shows the need to integrate skills, trades, education in schools and to teach it as young as possible. We actually, just to shout out one of our programs, Construction Skills in New York City, they have a high school focused program where they recruit students from multiple high schools. And part of the day is spent in their sort of normal semester day, and then the other part of the day is spent at the training site. And so they are actually getting our programming while they're in high school, right? And so then they're able to go right into an apprenticeship upon graduation. So we've seen a lot of growth from the program side. We've seen a lot of growth in general, a lot of interest. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there is some anxiety around the AI of it all. And folks definitely see the skilled trades as a durable career that is both needed to enable the growth of AI, but also is a little immune to it. At least you can't lay bricks, yet with an AI bot. So we'll see.
There's no AI bots unless the critical infrastructure, the energy plants, the data centers are all put in place. And somebody has to do that, and that takes manual labor.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. So if we're sitting here 5 years from now and America successfully, through the TradesFutures program, by the way, addressed its construction workforce shortage, what would have to have had to happen between now and then to truly make that possible? What is the solution to growing this?
So one thing, I guess, to go back to our early conversation is we really want to ensure that investment in an industry considers and plans for the workforce need of that industry early on. So one example of how folks can do this, right, is we often work under what are called apprentice utilization ratios. So these are construction projects that have a goal of a certain number of hours to be worked by apprentices. This is really, really important because a lot of times developers and contractors, want to ensure that they have the most highly skilled workers, which is great. But that's not necessarily providing opportunities for the folks that need to actually move up and get the training that you're going to need to make up that construction workforce in however many years. So policies and structures that can incentivize hiring of early stage workers are really, really important. They provide opportunities for our graduates, and they just build up the base of available skilled, high quality labor right early on. So that's really critical. And then in general, we want to ensure that there is increased awareness of the skilled trades as a viable, high quality career path, right? We have so many amazing stories across the country of folks that are able to buy their own home, right? Are able to support their families through a skilled trades career. And that is so crucial, right? To ensure the sustainability of this path. And then the last thing, if I can do a pitch, is workforce planning, right? If we have projects across the country that say, hey, we're going to need, 500 electricians tomorrow. Well, you can't train 500 electricians, right, in a day. But if you have advance notice, right, then our union partners, our apprenticeship programs, our industry partners, right, they can all ensure that they're investing in that pipeline to have them ready for when you actually need them. But you need the advanced planning, right, to be able to do that. And so I think that's what we also hope is early investment, awareness, and planning. Those are the pieces that we hope for.
So bringing it back to the basics, say I am a young person or somebody looking for a career change and I'm watching this episode. How do I get involved in this? How do I become, somebody that receives the benefits of this training and then the job force, placement?
Thanks for asking. Great question. So you can visit our website, which is www.tradesfutures.org. We have a map on our website, and if you're interested in an apprenticeship readiness program in your area, you can find it there. You can also email us if you can't find it. We're at info@tradesfutures.org. And then if you're a young person who knows what trade you want to pursue, so you're like, you know what, I know I want to be a glazier, right? Then you can actually go directly on to our website as well, and you can find the apprenticeship program, right, that you're looking for, because many regions across the country have these apprenticeship programs that don't require prior training, right? That's the whole point. You're earning while you're learning. And so if you already know what direction you want to go and you just need help getting there, you can also go on our website or email us and we can help you with that as well.
All right. So Marina, money and the ability to run these programs doesn't come out of thin air, right? As much as we'd all love to make sure we're all making $70 an hour, there's work behind it. How do you operate? What do you look for in support, or donations?
So we are a nonprofit 501c3. So we currently operate through a mix of government funding. We receive funding from the Department of Labor through a cooperative agreement that has been really instrumental to scaling our work across the country. Just to shout out that work, we have our number of programs has tripled over the last 5 years, and that funding has really enabled that. We also operate with philanthropic funds and industry contributions, and that enables us to ensure that we're managing this network in a way that is sustainable and enables growth of these opportunities for all of our students. Just to sort of again share the growth, like we had 7,700 students that our programs enrolled last year, up from about 3,500 in 2023.
And are most of these students that find out about your program learning through the unions, the trades, and the school systems that you're a part of?
Yeah, it's a mix. So we have a lot of folks that are, I would say, in their mid-20s. So they have some work experience, often low-wage work, and they're looking to make a career change. Right, that is a very common profile of folks that are going through our programs. They may have a family, they have serious sort of financial needs, right? And so they are ready to commit to something. As I said, after our program, if you go into an apprenticeship, it's usually 4 years, right? That's a commitment. It's debt free because it's financed through the collective bargaining structure, but it's a commitment, right? And so that's why often we get folks that are a little older, and they will find out through our programs do marketing right across the country, and especially in their local area, a lot of word of mouth. I mean, one of our programs, like I will say, in upstate New York and Rochester, has a wait list of like 800 people, right? Like
Wow.
there's a lot of demand, and this is not uncommon. This is a really common story. We have a lot of programs that do their own word of mouth recruitment. Like, just to give you an example, I was at a graduation in Austin, Texas, and there was a young man who was graduating as a first generation immigrant, had, his family had not had a prior connection. So I thought to this field, and the training director is like, your last name looks familiar. Remind me, like, how did you find out about this program? And he's like, my brother went through the program 2 years ago. He's now a second year electrical apprentice. And this young man was going into a plumbing pipe fitting apprenticeship. And I say this to say, like, this family had not previously had a connection, right, to the industry or to the program, but because the older brother had gone through it, there was now this like new recruitment pathway. It's not a single point of light, right? Not like just a nice story, but it's a new pathway for a community, but also like a ton of labor, right? Like a lot of folks that are now interested in this industry. And that's what we want to see, right? Like truly a new way of recruiting participants and opening up these opportunities. And in doing so, like really investing and building in this built environment and infrastructure that we need.
So you were awarded an Ivory Prize. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. We're so thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a big deal, and I think it's awesome what the Ivory Prize judges pick, and do. I mean, it's an honor to even be, part of the final group that gets in there. So, but I guess my question is, why did the Ivory Prize, recognize TradesFutures as a housing affordability solution rather than simply a workforce organization?
I will say, like, just to pause on the Ivory Prize thing, it's been a really great experience for us. We are so honored to have received that award, because we know how important the construction workforce is to the housing industry. And it's really great to have that recognition coming from the other side as well, right? Really, really, I think it makes the right point, right? It really puts the emphasis in the right place. So I'm so sorry, I forgot the beginning of the question.
Oh, no. Why they looked at what you're doing more as an affordability solution than a workforce organization solution.
Yes. So there's two pieces. I mean, one is we know that delays, project delays caused by labor shortage do not make projects cheaper. They make them take longer and make them more expensive. So that is the simplest, I would say, answer to the question. But the other piece I think that stood out to them is that we are a scalable model, right? Like it is really hard often to start from scratch and like get traction as a small nonprofit operating in one space, but we are a network, right? So we are 200 programs growing every day, and that creates scale, right? That creates scale of solutions that has allowed us to bring investment and resources to this network, which allows us to make the solution more affordable, right? And allows us to grow the the workforce that's needed to build the housing that then makes the housing more affordable, right? So to me, it's both acknowledging the crucial role that workforce plays in ensuring that projects are completed successfully and on time and on or under budget, right? That's huge.
That's important. Yeah.
But also the scalability, right, component, which allows us to bring resources to places where they're really needed.
Yeah, and if you're a growing organization out there, and as you bring on projects, you got to bring on more skilled trades, it becomes a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. It really does. Yeah, it really does.
So let me ask you this question then. If you had the attention of every governor, every mayor, every housing leader, across America for 60 seconds, what would you tell them about workforce development, and what would you tell them about your program and why they should be supportive of it and part of it?
Well, Our program has a strong track record of scaling proven solutions that work. We're a replicable model, that can invest in your community while creating a larger skilled trades workforce that can support the infrastructure needs of the region. So that's huge. I would also, investing in that model, investing in workforce training, ensuring that there are incentives to hire entry level workers, that's all huge. And those are all things that policymakers, business leaders, labor leaders, everyone can do, right? And everyone should be championing. The other thing I think that I would say is there is a lot of demand right now for skilled labor from a lot of industries, not just housing. And, ensuring that the jobs that folks are going into are competitive is really big, right? If we have a job, a data center job, let's say over here, that's going to pay $2 more an hour than another job over here, your skilled trades workforce is going to go to the data center job that's paying $2 more an hour. So ensuring competitiveness is the other piece that I would really hone in on. My responsibility as the head of this organization is to ensure a successful outcome for our graduates who are really looking to transform their lives and sustain their families. So it is, that's where I come from this perspective, is I want to ensure they have the best possible option. But there's also just a pure competitiveness component, right? Like ensuring that these jobs are competitive, solid, sustainable, right, for the workforce, both benefits the worker, but also ensures that the industry has a stable and secure workforce, and ensures that these built environment goals are really achieved in the long run.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna put a comment up here. I believe it's Henry Mickelberg, but it doesn't come up with the name of the LinkedIn user. It says, if I'm a disgustingly rich hyperscaler, do I get some sort of guaranteed trades futures graduates for a generous 50C3 donation?
Well, we don't necessarily partner directly with some companies, but we do partner with others. We absolutely ensure that our graduates, if they need a strong, high quality job at the end of their apprenticeship readiness program, and if they go into an apprenticeship program that partners with an industry that provides strong wages, and particularly those that partner with unions, then yes, we absolutely want to ensure that those graduates have those opportunities. But we're open. You got a job for us? Come to us.
That's it. All right, we got Greg Ugaldi here. Greg is the past chair of the National Association of Home Builders, the top dog, the guy that actually updates the President of the United States and of the United States on policy now and again. So he's at the highest level. He says, DC Live, spot on. Dave and Marina, we love to have Trades Futures working side by side with HBI, Home Builders Institute, and NAHB across the country. Great job. Well, that's pretty good, huh?
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, we were at the housing conference at HBI recently. And, it's really great to hear a really wide array of partners recognizing the need for investing in the housing workforce, really across the board. So it's been a really, seems like a steady drumbeat, that's coming pretty fast.
So is there anything that we missed, Marina, other than me saying your last name because I didn't want to butcher it?
I will say it, Marina Zhavoronkova, right?
Zhavoronkova.
Yes,
as
I said earlier, that comes back to the Soviet Union story, if you might have guessed. So we're just really grateful for this opportunity, and we're a younger nonprofit, right? But we have a really sort of strong and growing grassroots network of programs across the country that really take their responsibility to their students and to their industry and labor partners really well. And so we just appreciate the opportunity to have this conversation and ensure that, we're all on the same page, that we know that the workforce to actually achieve our built environment dreams, right, is there and is ready to go.
Yeah, and listen, if you're out there watching this, the Greg Ugaldis, the Henry Mickelbergs, all of you and you bigger developers out there all the way around the world, we all need skilled trade labor, and we need them to come from a place that's trusted, that has the right curriculum, not only on the skill side, but also on the business side, and they're trained right. And then you feed your own business. To me, this is a no-brainer. And by the way, you're giving people the opportunity to provide for their families, and they're getting this for free. So find a way to support it. That's what I have to say. Love it. Marina, I really appreciate you joining us today. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you after the end of the show here for a few moments and catch up. But for the rest of you out there, listen, first off, again, a big shout out to our supporting members. If you want to be a supporting member, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us through our website, davecooper.live. You can through LinkedIn, doesn't matter what it is. And as always, we're always looking for new guests for the show. People we haven't heard of, people maybe we have heard of, people that are just building it better. QR code's up here. Take your phone out, open that camera, and hit the QR code and sign up for the show. So with that said, I hope this brought you guys a lot of value out there today. And I do hope you keep building it better, because guess what? It's Monday. You still got 4.5 days to keep doing it till the weekend, because the weekend's for family. Outside of that, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm Dave Cooper. We'll see you Wednesday. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.